Hooray! Nigeria is 62. May this Independence Day bring fortune and success to each and every one of us. May our country see more progress in the coming years. May the labors of our heroes past never be in vain. God bless Nigeria. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Happy 62nd Independence from Spectrum TV.
As Nigeria turns 62 on October 1st, lots of burning questions are on the minds of Nigerians about the state of affairs of our dear nation. Attorney Asukwo Mendie Archibong, Esquire, had an exclusive interview with Spectrum Television, Uyo, where the students of High Praises International School had the opportunity to ask some issue-based questions. Attorney Asukwo Mendie Archibong, Esquire, is a U.S.-barred international attorney at law. He also has a background in broadcasting. In 2018, he formed the now deregistered Nigeria for Democracy NFD party. He was the NFD presidential candidate for the 2019 general elections. He is a good governance advocate who pushes for the dividends of democracy to trickle down to everyone. Mendie Archibong Esquire tackles social issues all over the country. Now, let's watch the questioning excerpt of the exclusive interview.
So my name is Abasianjo Ezekiel Hansen, and my question is, in the case of illegal poaching and random shooting of animals, please, some animals in Nigeria are extinct. So please, how can we increase the animal rates in our country?
This question actually surprised me because this is an international issue. If you remember that pandemic in 2020, they said it started from the poaching of animals and the eating of animals, and the infection jumped over from the animal world into the human world. So the question by Abasedion is really, really important in terms of not just preserving our animals, but also in preserving the health and well-being of human beings as well. And I'm talking about the virus. There are laws against killing of animals in Nigeria. You can't just kill animals for sports. You can't kill wild animals for feeding. So when we do have bush meat that we go to eat, we are actually violating the law. We also do have the forestry department in Nigeria that protects the animals as well, and hopefully they become more effective in the protection of these animals. But the protection of animals is the duty of every Nigerian to ensure that these animals are protected, because they cannot protect themselves, especially as their habitat keeps shrinking because human beings keep moving into their habitats.
My name is Kini Darambom Sondumana, and I have 3 questions. The first one is, we've been hearing, or I've heard of how our president leave the country. So is there any law against that? And number 2 question is, you had mentioned international law and Nigerian law. And since we have a Nigerian court, do you have international court, and where is it located in? And the third question is, if you were to be voted or elected president or governor, what suggestions will you give for the promotion of growth in Nigeria and to destabilize insecurity in Nigeria? Thank you.
The president is a Nigerian citizen. He has the freedom to move all over Nigeria and to be outside of Nigeria. But unlike the Nigerian everyday citizen, because he is the president, he has to transmit power if he stays outside of Nigeria for a continuous period of time. And that transmission of power has to be done to the National Assembly, and it will enable the Vice President of Nigeria to act as the President of Nigeria when that time has been implicated. So the President can leave Nigeria and stay outside for as long as he wants, as long as he follows the Constitution of Nigeria to transmit power after a certain period of time. And in terms of the Nigerian law and international law, The international law, yes, there is a court, the International Court of Justice, and yes, it is located in The Hague. And yes, if you have cases, you actually have to go to The Hague to go and have the court hear the case. And it's made of judges from different parts of the world to sit and hear a lot of these cases. An example being that the International Court of Justice in The Hague did hear the dispute between Nigeria and Cameroon in terms of the Bakassi Peninsula. Unfortunately, Nigeria lost, so that parcel of land was handed over to the Cameroon. Nigeria is a peaceful country and demonstrated to the rest of the world how it should behave in that instance.
My name is Kendaram Fonsondo-Mana. I have 2 questions. My first question is it right for someone in power, take it to be the governor or the president, to appoint his relative or family member to any political position?
Nepotism is what we will call it. We've had a lot of conversation in the last couple of years about nepotism. It still goes to what I spoke about, which is politics of proximity and governance by proximity. So we feel pain when brothers and sisters and uncles and cousins and nieces and nephews are brought into governance, not minding the qualifications of these persons. It is wrong. Nepotism is wrong. It was so wrong that Kennedy, when he appointed his own younger brother as the Attorney General in the United States, after that appointment, there is a law that precludes the president from appointing any immediate member of his family into a cabinet or what you will call in Nigeria ministerial position. There is no law in Nigeria that keeps that from happening, but hopefully that type of law will come to place. But there is a moral ground that we should stand on in terms of appointments when one is in government. We should only appoint based on the skill set of the person and not based on the religious, not based on the familial, not based on the ethnic, not based on the regional affinity of the person, but based on what is in the best interest of Nigeria as a nation.
And my second question is, the motorcade carried by a politician, governor, president in Nigeria, is it a sign that we are not yet ready for development, or it is wastage of funds?
There is no justification of it. The more dangerous your motorcade is, the more important that you may think you are. But it is dangerous. The people in government have the same right to the road as we, the everyday Nigerians. They have to obey traffic laws. They have to obey the road traffic devices. They have to give way to pedestrians, and they must not constitute themselves into a nuisance. Hopefully, when Umana grows up and becomes the president of Nigeria, or the governor of Akwa Ibom State, or the governor of any state, because you can be a governor in any state in the Federation of Nigeria, she will break this jinx of having very dangerous motorcade. I can see their colleagues turning around and hopefully saying, remember us when you get there. But,
my name is Emedion Charles Efion. My question is, what is Nigeria doing? The thing you said, the sentence you made, sir, you said, what is Nigeria doing for me? You earlier said that citizens must say, what should I do for Nigeria? Sir, but in most circumstances, the government should be held accountable for citizens not being able to improve. For instance, ASUU has caused so many disadvantages in the area of education, thereby causing degrees percentage in their aspects of academics. Please, I want to say.
A lot of people, and this is genuine and it is appropriate, do ask, yes, when I have done all I can do for my country, I expect my country to do also for me. And that expectation is premised on the fact that these young ones have parents like a medium that asked the question. Their parents pay taxes, and they expect that the government will use these taxes in their best interest. The welfare and the well-being of Nigerians is the primary and the main role and function of the government. So a medium is saying, yeah, but I also want the government to do things for me because my parents do pay taxes, and I am a child of my parents. I'm also a Nigerian citizen. What if you dig in deeper, a medium is saying, I want good education. I want to have a good healthcare. I want to have a good road transport network. I want to have affordable food in the country. I want to be able to live within this country in a safe and secure environment. I want to be proud of Nigeria as a person. These are the things that Nigeria as a country has the responsibility to do for its citizens, including a medium.
So my name is Actfan Joy Ezekiel, and my question is, can our Nigerian currency gain back its value?
How can we gain back parity in terms of Naira and the US dollar? It's painful because I do recall a time that a flight from Nigeria to London was 300 Naira. I mean, 300 Naira, and they were begging people to buy the tickets and fly over to London. It's painful because when you're talking of 300 Naira now, it's not even up to $1. That's so difficult to absorb. 300 Naira, not even up to $1. So Joy is saying, how can we get back this Naira that we all hear about having been so powerful, but in our lifetime has been nothing short of a weak currency? It behoves every Nigerian to do a lot of things before we can see our economic prowess begin to grow again. What are those things? Our parents must vote the right persons into power. No longer party politics, no longer regional politics, no longer tribal politics, no longer friendship politics, but who is best suited for this job. Not just the presidency, not just the gubernatorial elections, but including the senators, including the State House of Assembly, the Federal House of Assembly, the local government, and the councillors. When we have the right people in government, guess what? We are going to have governance. Proper governance. We're going to have good governance, and good governance engenders the economic well-being of the country. And when the country is strong economically, the currency of that country will also begin to grow and become strong internationally as well. So all of this is to say, hopefully, what we can do is to ensure that we have the right persons in government so that we will have good governance.
My name is Ndomeri Friday, and my question is, Nigeria is turning 62 years of age, but yet nothing has been done about the call-off of ASUU strike. As an attorney, what is your take about the federal government calling off the strike? How can such issue be visited?
It's painful because when you hear these young ones, they are in SS1, SS2, SS3, and their heart's desire, their main goal is to get into the university. But when they hear and do see their friends home, their senior friends, their older friends who are home because of the ASUU strike, it's not encouraging to them. So they are hoping that by the time they get to the point of getting admission into the university, that the issue of strike is completely wiped out, ended, and it never happens again in the history of the Federation of Nigeria. What would it take for ASUU and the federal government to come to an agreement, without going into the details and without saying who is right or wrong? But I believe that both parties must negotiate in good faith and must negotiate with the interest of the children at heart, and must negotiate with the sense that history will judge every single person that has a hand whereby the education of children of Nigeria is hampered, is brought down, is taken off the appropriate rail tracks. It's so painful that while we have people in the United States, in France, in Germany, in Costa Rica, different parts of the world, going forward, we have in Nigeria a system whereby children are staying home for no reason that is tenable to us as Nigerians.
And my second question is, if a citizen of another country commits a crime in Nigeria, will he be judged here in Nigeria or in his country?
If citizens of a different country commit a crime in Nigeria, where will they be held responsible? They'll be held responsible right here in Nigeria. I believe that was also from Mary. So they won't take you back to your home country and hold you responsible. That person will be prosecuted in Nigeria, and if found guilty, sentenced in Nigeria as well.
My name is Daniel Sam-Esam, and I have 2 questions. My first question is, forgive me for this question, seeing as the political party you created is called Nigeria for Democracy, but if we are to be realistic and not idealistic, all of our current infrastructure that is still in use or in any usable condition right now was created in the military regime and not actually during the democratic regime. So I would really like your take on whether Nigeria is best suited for democracy, because 23 years of democracy, we haven't really achieved anything in 23 years of democracy.
This is such an important question. Why? We've tried different types of government in Nigeria. We've tried the British type of parliamentary system. We've tried the military system of government. And we've tried the US system of government twice. What is the best? A lot of people forget that we also do have the traditional system of government that was in existence before the colonialists came in and imposed their own system of government on us. Right now, there is hardly anything better than democracy. But why is it important? The rise of China, the rise of the Asian countries shows us that democracy is not the only system of government that works. China has a different system of government. Socialism and communism was said to be terrible, but now socialism is on the rise. So that question is pretty important. But to the extent that we are already practicing democracy and it's been working for us, and a majority of countries in Africa practice democracy, I believe we should stick with democracy.
My name is Mary Jane Chinazanakudo. I have just a question, and it goes this way. Is it possible to impeach the president easily? And please, if it is possible, what are the strong evidence citizens can have to impeach the president? Thank you.
The bar is very high for the president to be impeached. That's to start from either the Senate or the Federal House of Assembly to establish the impeachment of the president.
My name is Darim Emmanuel Essien. My question goes thus. The Nigerian society has once been termed as to be as lawless as international waters. So my question is that what can Nigerian law enforcers do to actually enforce the laws in Nigeria?
I've learned one thing. You can't impose lawful behavior on people. People must decide to be law-abiding, because when they become lawless, the consequences is painful to them. In the United States, when you speed and you are caught speeding, you are fined, and that fine can be as high as $200. What is $200? At 700 naira to $1, that's 140,000 naira. I tell you what, if any Nigerian is fined 140,000 naira and they know they have to pay that fine just for speeding, people will crawl. People will not want to speed anymore. So punishment does actually affect the behavior of people. So we should look at the punishment part of things and make sure that we impose the appropriate punishment on the people. And what she actually spoke about does also touch the judiciary, because when you take cases to court, it tends to linger for so long. People tend to get away with poor and lawless behavior. We should ensure that there is immediate and speedy dispensation of justice so that people can learn to act in the appropriate manner.
Please, my name is Imika Kyobong Emmanuel Essien. Sir, since we know that Nigeria is blessed with a lot of natural resources, please, sir, how do you think we can use these resources to the maximum level?
When people talk about natural resources, that immediately the mind goes to oil. Well, we also do have gold. We also do have bauxite in Nigeria. We do have coal in Nigeria. We have a lot of natural resources. The appropriate thing to do is to ensure that there is good governance. When there is good governance, you are going to have equitable distribution of these natural resources amongst the regions. Not just the regions, but to a great extent, these natural resources are privatized in the United States. So the federal government does not really take these natural resources. It provides the regulatory framework under which these natural resources can be used in the best interest of the country. That is what I hope will obtain in the near future, so that Imikan can begin to enjoy the Federation of Nigeria.
My name is Emmanuela Tony Bassi, and my question is, you said we have 3 tiers of government in Nigeria. So I want to ask if there are other tiers of government in maybe America and other states.
We have 3 tiers of government in Nigeria, and these are the federal government, the state government, and the local government. Does this obtain also in the United States? That was our question, and my knee-jerk reaction was to say, yes, it does, but really, it doesn't. Although we are practicing the American-style democracy, they don't have local governments in the United States. They have councils in the United States, and that is much, much different than what obtains in Nigeria. These councils are much more powerful, okay? Rather, counties. These counties are much more powerful than the local government areas that we have in Nigeria. The counties actually appoint their police force. They appoint their chief of police. They have a jurisdiction. The head of the county actually governs an area, and that area, in his governance or our governance, can include the power supply, water supply, the roads. Keep in mind that the educational system is controlled at the county level. The state only sets the legal framework for this, for the county to provide this education, right from the preschool to middle school to high school is controlled at the county level. I'm glad that was the last question. These were really tough questions, and I want to thank all of them. Please, thank you so very much. Thank you so very much for the questions that you did ask. The way forward for Nigeria seems simple and easy, but it's not really that simple and easy. Make sure that you have your PVC. Make sure that you vote. Make sure that you protect your vote. But most significantly, make sure that you vote devoid of ethnic sentiments, devoid of religious bias, devoid of regional bias, devoid of friendship bias, but vote in the best interest of Nigeria, so that we have the best persons governing us at every level of governance. When we have the best persons governing us, we are going to have good governance. But what I always tell people, if you're not interested in politics, be interested in governance. One of the things that they've lied about has been that politics is a dirty game. No, some people in politics are unpleasant. But if anyone wants to change Nigeria or to see a different Nigeria, get in politics or get into governance. Thank you.
God bless Nigeria! Happy Independence to Nigeria!
Hooray! Nigeria is 62. May this Independence Day bring fortune and success to each and every one of us. May our country see more progress in the coming years. May the labors of our heroes past never be in vain. God bless Nigeria. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Happy 62nd Independence from Spectrum TV.